is, two interesting stories here that I want to share with you. The first is on the pending impact of AI on music. Now, we know that AI is everywhere now. It's all you're hearing about is AI. Apple apparently is discussing or going to, on their next software update, load AI onto your phones, which is somewhat controversial because AI, of course, AI, artificial intelligence, is in and of itself controversial. There are people think that it will change the world and be the greatest thing that ever happened and could be the way to cure cancer, and there's others that think it will eradicate the world. Is there any middle ground? I certainly hope so. But there's a lot of discussion about this right now and the pros and cons of it and the dangers of it and all of that. We're in a time where there is so much misinformation out there online, so many fabricated things, so many erroneous things, so many people being impersonated or hacked or what have you. And AI has the potential to take that to whole new levels unlike we've ever seen. In the purposes of this show and what we talk about, which is music, there's been a lot of debate about the impact of AI there. There's already been reports that AI has had a role in recording vocals for artists who can't sing anymore, who have had, a lot of controversy whether stuff was actually real or not. There was a rumor when Motley Crue put out their latest song, Dogs of War, that AI had something to do with the creation of that song and the creation of Vince Neil's vocals on that song. And if you heard my interview with Motley when I had them in studio for that song recently, I asked them about that. And, Nikki made some sort of comment like, people are idiots, of course not, or whatever. But it's now becoming a viable question when you see what this technology can do. And it's going to become an even more viable conversation because, and I thank my friend Troy Patrick Farrell for sending me this article today because I missed it in my prep. But this is an article that's in Classic Rock magazine, which is a phenomenal rock magazine I talk about often out of the UK. And their parent company is called Louder, or Louder Sound. So all the accounts post the same thing, basically. But this is an interesting headline that I'm reading from Classic Rock. Universal Music, which is the biggest music ownership conglomerate in the world, has signed a deal to train artificial intelligence to make ultra-high fidelity vocal models of artists signed to the label. And in this article, which you can see online, there is an AI image of Jon Bon Jovi appearing to sing in an AI-generated version of Abbey Road Studios. Now, the image does not really look like Jon Bon Jovi, I don't think. I mean, I guess you could say it looks a little like him, but I wouldn't have looked at it. If I didn't read the caption, I would not have thought that was John. But it's interesting, it's extremely interesting that they used Jon Bon Jovi, I don't know if he's aware of it or not, as the graphic for this story. Because we all know John has greatly publicized all of his vocal challenges and what he's going through. And we all know that as of now, there are no live shows, and we don't know if there ever will be live shows again for Bon Jovi because of John's vocal issues. But does AI come in and change the game? Will people, and I'm not saying John is doing this or even endorsing this, but they're just using his image in this article or an AI version of his image. Would people accept an AI-generated vocal from an artist that can't sing anymore? I mean, to me, I think it's crazy to even ask that question. But look at what we see people accepting now when it comes to live entertainment if they really want to see an artist. Bands with incredibly fractured lineups. Bands with, maybe no original members. Bands who are blatantly using tracks and lip syncing, or worse, with even more instruments. Some have even admitted to it, and people still go. People seem to accept anything. Holograms, avatars, it's all coming down the pike. And now you introduce AI, and the biggest music company in the world investing in AI. I hate to say it, but I mean, we got to hold on for dear life to the artists that are out there 100% playing live. It's like, it's not, I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy what is happening. And if people don't draw a line in the sand on this stuff, it's never going to stop. You can just see how it's progressing further and further down the line. And I don't know where it all ends. And look, I am not anti-technology. I mean, the upside of some of the AI stuff from a medical capacity and all of that could be phenomenal, could be life-changing, game-changing. So I am not anti-progress tech. But I still firmly believe that the reason why anybody goes to a live show is to hear a band play and sing live. Now, there are exceptions to that, but I just don't know where this all goes. I mean, and again, I think as long as people and the industry sees people being willing to buy and accept anything thrown at them, you could have artists that are touring forever and never stop. We're already seeing it. Let me read you a little of this article. Universal Music, the biggest music company in the world, has signed a deal with artificial intelligence startup Sound Labs to create what it calls official ultra-high fidelity vocal models for artists using their own voice data for training while retaining control over ownership and giving them full artistic approval and control of the output. Now, I don't even know translated what that means, but basically Universal is saying that they aren't going to do this without the artist's involvement and without the artist being able to approve it and control its usage. The article continues, in a nutshell, the deal allows singers signed to the label to train AI models using their own voices, meaning that Jon Bon Jovi, in theory, could record a new album using AI-generated vocals without committing his own voice to tape. The deal ensures that artists retain ownership of the results and are given full artistic approval on how they're used, so that not everyone can make a new Bon Jovi album. So do you see where this is going? Universal is the label Bon Jovi you're signed to. Jon Bon Jovi has openly said he is done if he can't sing anymore. But if he wanted to, with this technology, Universal now owns this company. He could say to his label, hey, you know what? Here, I wrote some songs. I can't sing anymore, but have my AI voice record these songs. Program it to make it sound like I did in '86. Are you going to buy that? I mean, to me, if you're going to do that, you got to disclose it. I mean, we've seen this a little bit with that Beatles recording, although Paul McCartney had said they only used AI to extract the John Lennon vocal from the tape and to save it and to work with it, not to recreate his voice. The press release from Universal Music says, quote, this empowers artists and producers to explore bleeding-edge vocal transformations, including voice-to-voice, voice-to-instrument, speech-to-singing, language transposition, and a myriad of previously impossible vocal transformations. Together, UMG and Sound Labs are collaborating to allow UMG artists, Universal Music Group, to create custom vocal models that will be available for their exclusive creative use cases and not available to the general public. Now, the guy from the AI company says, he ends his quote with saying, "We believe the future of music creation is decidedly human." Well, how do you frame that? And how do you say that when you're now saying that you're going to use fake vocals? The story continues. Artificial intelligence, when used ethically and trained consciously, consensually, has the Promethean ability to unlock unimaginable new creative insights, diminish friction in the creative process, and democratize creativity for artists, fans, and creators of all stripes. We are designing tools not to replace human artists, but to amplify human creativity. Sound Labs describe themselves as producing ethically trained AI assistive tools for musicians that put the power in musicians' hands and keep it there, but the use of AI has been proposed in more controversial ways elsewhere. For instance, Peter Frampton has talked about recent plans to release AI-assisted recordings of Humble Pie using new vocals from late singer Steve Marriott. Frampton said, and I quote, "If the AI technicians can do it to Steve, and they've done it to me, what comes next? How far will they go? For me, there is no place for such fakery. Using somebody's immortal voice for anything other than its original purpose is just wrong." I would agree with the great Peter Frampton right there. So you can already see the division here. But for Universal and this AI company to try to say they believe in music being created by humans, but then to go and do this, come on, what do you think it's going to be used for? These guys that are totally retired or their voice is fried or blown out and they can't do it anymore, they can still sit in their house and have a computer sing their vocal and the label can still sell it. The person can be dead and they can still be making records. I mean, it's just, where does it end? Well, I'll tell you where it ends. It ends with you guys, meaning the record buying public, meaning the music fan, caring and saying, no, I'm not going to buy that. No, that's not for me. No, that's not of interest to me. Whether it's a concert, whether it's a recording, whatever. And if people don't do that, as we've seen already with what's happening with fake live shows rampantly, it's just going to continue and get worse and worse and worse. Again, I am not anti-technology at all. But I am when it replaces, the whole point. What is the point of listening to a record if it's not to hear the person that you love singing or playing or writing? Like, what is the freaking point? I could make a record. I can't sing. I can't play. So I can call this company and say, hey, this is what I want to sound like. If I could sing, here's a sample of my voice trying to sing, fix it up, have the computer write some songs for me. I want it to sound like, UFO circa 1976. And put out the new Eddie Trunk record. 10 songs. Yeah, I want 5 of them to be 4.5 minutes, 3 of them to be 2 minutes, and 2 of them to be 8 minutes. Yeah. And make an AI album cover too. It's, hey, look, guys, I suddenly got talent overnight. It's insane. Yeah, Eddie and the Tracks, my live show, will dovetail perfectly with this. My live show that won't be live, and my record that won't be real. I'm in the music business. I'm about to turn 60 and I am embarking on my new journey as your favorite entertainer on stage and your new favorite recording artist. Oh, man. And Universal has invested in this. That's the crazy part. The biggest music group in the world has invested in this. What do you think that's about? If they want to make a new Marvin Gaye record, they may make one. If his estate signs off on it and just program Marvin Gaye into their computer. Wow. Wow. All right. Don't mean to sound like an old man, but I'm all down with this stuff when it's something that helps people, but when it completely guts art and the whole point of music to me, yeah, that's a problem.